Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Engineer RB Singh, and today we will start a new chapter, that is cell of biology. Before I start the chapter, let me tell you one thing. This whole lecture will be in English. So if you don't understand English, this video is not for you, but you will be able to get. If your English is not that much good, you will be able to understand. And again, let me tell you one thing, that if you like the video, don't forget to press that button of like and do subscribe this channel, and don't forget to press that bell icon so that you can get all the notifications of my upcoming videos. So students, let's start the chapter cell. First of all, let's talk about a building. A building is made up of bricks. So students, you must have noticed this thing, or you must have seen this thing also, that a building is made up of small bricks, or you can say brick is the structural unit of building. The whole structure of building is made up of small units called bricks. So this was about building. If you talk about the bodies of plants and animals, body of plants and animals are made up of cells. Yes students, cells, the chapter which we are doing today. Bodies of all plants and animals are made up of cells. And you also know that plants and animals, all plants and animals are living things. So we can say that cell is the structural unit of life. If there will be life, there must be cell. It's about the structure. Let's talk about the function that our body is performing. See, if I ask you with the help of which organ we human breathe, you will say that we breathe with the help of lungs. Okay. If I ask you what is the function of heart, you will tell me that heart pumps the blood, and that blood goes to all the organs in our body. So according to you, according to us, the heart is performing the function, lungs are performing the function, and stomach is also performing some definite some specific function. Every body organ is doing a specific function. But if you go inside that body organ, what you will notice, that ultimately a point will come, you won't be able to divide the structure. See, that heart is made up of, heart is an organ, and it is made up of tissues, and tissues are further made up of cells. So combination of cells is called tissue. So basically heart is made up of cell. In the same way, lungs are also made up of cell. In this way, whole of our human body is made up of cell. Same is the case with plants also. Whole structure of the plant is made up of cell. So all the functions that different body organs are performing, they are performing that function is due to cells. So cell is also the functional unit of life. So we can manipulate our definition of cell. So you can say cells are the structural and functional unit of life. This is the definition of cell. I hope you got my point. So if I ask you how many cells are there in human body, there are many cells in our human body. Millions and trillions of cells are inside our body. So what we are made up of millions of cells. We are multicellular organisms. There are two type of organisms: multicellular organisms and unicellular organism. What is multicellular and unicellular? Multicellular organisms are those organisms which are made up of many number of cells. Got it? And the organisms whose bodies are made up of one cell, only one cell, those organisms are called unicellular organisms. So what are the examples of multicellular organisms? Almost all plants and animals come under multicellular organisms. If we talk about unicellular organisms, then the examples will be amoeba, paramecium, bacteria, etc. In our human body, there are many types of cells and many organs as well. For respiration, we have different organ. For digestion process, we have different organ. So we have different organs for different kind of functions. But if you talk about unicellular organism, they have only one cell, and that one cell perform all the functions, whether it's respiration, whether it's digestion, whether it's exhalation. All the functions are performed by a single cell in unicellular organism. So this was the basic definition of cell. Let's move further. Let's talk about the discovery of cell. In 1665, Robert Hooke. Who was Robert Hooke? He was an English scientist. Saw cells for the first time in a thin slice of cork with the help of his crude microscope. What is crude microscope? Crude means not advanced. Crude microscope was not that much advanced microscope. And you can understand that thing, that he was doing it for the first time. That is a big thing. And when he observed that thin slice of cork with his crude microscope, what did he observe? He observed a honeycomb like structure. And what did he call them? He named them as cells. Why cells? Well, cell is a Latin word which means a little room. So there was many little rooms in that honeycomb structure. That's why Robert Hooke named it as cells. So this is very important. This question can come in your exam, that who observed cells for the first time? Your answer would be Robert Hooke. Then in 1674, a Dutch scientist named as Van Leeuwenhoek studied living cells for the first time. Listen carefully, students. Van Leeuwenhoek observed living cells for the first time, and Robert Hooke observed cells for the first time. If this question comes, who observed living cells for the first time, then the answer would be Van Leeuwenhoek. And who observed cells for the first time, then it would be Robert Hooke. Overall, it was Robert Hooke who observed cells for the first time. But if specifically the question is asked that who observed living cells for the first time, then the answer would be Van Leeuwenhoek. And the microscope which was used by Leeuwenhoek was far more better than the microscope used by Robert Hooke. Next one is shape and size of cells. The size and shape of cells vary considerably. There is no fixed shape and size of the cells. All cells are different. Cells can be polygonal, spherical, elliptical, spindle shaped, or even cuboidal also. You can see the different shapes of the cells. And let me tell you one thing, some of the cells can be seen with the naked eyes, but majority of the cells are too small to be seen with the naked eyes. So you have to use microscope to see most of the cells. Let's talk about some of the facts of the cell. Smallest cell is PPLO, which is also called microplasma. Largest cell, ostrich egg. Ostrich egg is the largest cell. Longest animal cell. Longest animal cell is the nerve cell. This is the nerve cell. Another thing which you have to keep in the mind is that the size of the organism is dependent upon the number of cells, not on the volume of the cells. I am repeating again, size of the organism is dependent upon the number of cells and not on the volume of the cells. For example, what I am trying to explain you that the cells of an elephant are not necessarily larger than those of other tiny animals or plants. Size of elephant is large because its body consists of many number of cells. So the size of the body keeps on increasing with the number of cells. If you talk about human body is estimated to have 100 trillion cells. So that's it for today. Let's recapitulate all the points that we have covered today. Cells are the structural and functional units of life. There are two types of organisms, multicellular and unicellular. Unicellular organisms are made up of only by one cell, and multicellular are made up of millions of cells, many cells. Then we studied about Robert Hooke, an English scientist who saw cells for the first time in 1665. Then Leeuwenhoek, a Dutch scientist, he studied living cells for the first time in 1674. Then we learned that the size of the organism is dependent upon the number of cells and not on the volume of the cells. I hope you have understood all the topics which I have covered today. Please do comment in the comment box if you have any issue. Thank you friends. Thanks for watching the video. Thank you.